Replacing injectors is supposed to be easy, right?
I got now
Hey, what's going on everybody? My name's Derek and welcome to Fatal RPM. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to replace an injector with simple hand tools. Now, what we're going to go over real quick before I show you how to do that is the tools that you are going to need. Everything, honestly, anyone should have as long as you have like a decent toolbox. There's only one particular piece that you will need that you may or may not have, but we will get into that. Now, you don't have to watch this part if you don't really care, but I want to go over the way I diagnose my particular misfire. Now, if you want to skip past this, just go to that point in the video and we'll get straight into the install. So the way I diagnose my misfire on my car is a pretty general way of process of elimination. I did the three things that are required for ignition, which is the spark, which there's two pieces involved with the spark, which is going to be the spark plug and the coil pack. Then the other thing was the injector. So what I did is I was having a misfire on cylinder 6, could not figure out what it was for the life of me. So what I did is I took my injector, put it in cylinder 5. I took my spark plug, put it in cylinder 4, and took my coil pack and put it in cylinder 3, and took those things that I replaced and put them in to cylinder 6, just to see which codes go to which. Now, something I didn't know beforehand is that BMW, as is with most things, have very interesting things going on with their injector, in which right under this little cover here, this little black seal apparently is forget what, it's some type of material, but it seals into the combustion chamber. I did not know that that's supposed to be a one-time seal. I guess I got lucky, and my misfire happened to only carry over. My misfire happened to only carry over to cylinder 5. So my issue was my injector. So here are the tools that we're actually going to need to do this job. All right, so real quick, pardon the messy table. Don't worry about it. So in order to replace this injector here, usually you need two special tools. And once you replace these little things here, and there's also a little spring that attaches to this part here, which I am not going to replace because I did not get a new one. So we're just going to go with the one that I have. But you usually need two special tools. One to remove this, which is about a $60 tool. Yeah, one to remove this, which is a $60 tool. And then another to actually remove these, which is, I was looking around and honestly, they're just basically glorified slide hammers, which I was not willing to pay the prices that I see. If you want to look it up, more power to you. Just Google inject 335i or 335xi or N54, whatever it is, fuel injector tool, and you'll see the craziness that ensues. So I had to find a way to get around that. So the tools you're going to need to actually take it out, like once you get it down, get the valve cover, or not the valve cover, but get the engine cover off and all the little plastics around it, is literally three very, very, very simple things. First of which is a rag of some sort. This is just a dirty rag that I grabbed, and it looks a lot dirtier on camera than it does in person, which is really sad. But this is what you're going to need for this. So a rag, a pair of needle nose locking pliers or vice grips, whatever you want to call them, and last but not least, an extension. Now, the reason why you want the needle nose ones is because you want that little bit of space there. And what that's going to allow you to do is get an extension. This one's a 3/8 one, but it's going to allow you to, come on, stick an extension right in there. And this will give you the ability to get two hands on it and pull it straight out. That's honestly all you need. I don't think that my injectors had ever been replaced. I didn't see anything in the service manual from whenever I from whenever I bought the car. It had full service and everything. It never said anything about injectors. So I had over 160,000 miles on my injector, and I got it out this way. So there's honestly no need to buy extremely expensive, well, not extremely expensive parts, but one-off parts that are only going to be used for one thing. And they cost more than like 10 or 15 bucks. It's just unnecessary. But then basically what you're going to do is grab it with two hands and pull straight up. The good thing is this even works on cylinder 6. You just have a little bit less space. I think I had like about this much to grab onto, which was still enough to pull on. And it just passes the top of the valve cover. So that works. So what we're going to do is go outside, and I'm going to show you how this actually works on the car. There are a few things that you're going to have to do and need to do. So the first thing you're going to need is you are going to need, I think it's called INPA, and one of the KD-CAN cables to program the new injector to the car, because they have very specific numbers that we have to code to the car so that it doesn't misfire after this. The only other special tool you'll need is, pretty sure it's this one here, the E12 socket to take off the retention, almost spring arm thing that holds in the injectors. But the numbers we're going to have to program are these guys right here, as you can see. So this 575258, those are the numbers that we're going to have to put into the car's ECU. I swear every time I do this, it gets easier and easier. So what we're going to need right now is we're going to need our little towel here. Now if you're doing multiple injectors, I highly suggest disconnecting your battery, because the fuel pump on this likes to prime like every 5 minutes, and it will continue squirting out gas. Either that or grab a second towel if you don't care about losing the gas. So what I'm going to do, or what you're going to do, is you're just going to take the little towel here, we're going to poke it through, and then what we're going to do is grab one of our little wrenches here. I think it's going to be a 14 millimeter. Yeah, this is the 14. And then once we take the 14, we are going to loosen it. I guess I didn't cover it quite right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to do the same thing with the towel, because that's going to try and squirt out, or it is going to squirt out. We just want to minimize what goes everywhere. And we're going to undo that one. And it's just going to kind of come leaking out. We want to use a rag to catch it all, or most of it. There we go. We got our fuel line off. Now we just want to put this in a safe space. I'm just going to put it right there for now. And then for now, we're going to take our rag here, and we're just going to cover this little connector here. Just so, since I don't have my positive terminal unplugged, it's going to continue to squirt that, and I don't want it going everywhere, at least until I get this off. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to unplug this, and the easiest way to do that is we're going to swap out our bit here. We want one of these tiny little flatheads, either that or fingernails if you got them, but as you can see I do not. I just got nubs. So now that we're in here, we're just going to take a little flathead, we're going to go to the little clip behind it, pry it down behind, and pull it up. So now that we got that little connector out the way, to make things easier, you can also take off this little bolt here. This is the ground for your coil packs here, or your ignition coils. You can take that off just to make it a little easier on you. I'm not going to do that. But what we're going to want to do is get down here to this bolt here. This is that E12. Easiest way is to use that extension we're going to use for leverage later. Put the E12 on the end. And mine here is a wobble, so I can get in here a lot easier. And we're just going to take it off. What I recommend doing is, if you can get your hand down in there, take 2 fingers and just kind of unscrew it the rest of the way once you get it loose. Or unscrew it all the way and then put it back on for like 2 threads. Just to make it easier on yourself. What we're going to do just kind of slide it out. As you can see, this is our little retention arm. Now how this goes back in is like that. So when we put it back down in, it goes on top of the little brackets on the side or the little clips on the side. Now it's time to grab our vice grips and this rag and this guy. And let me get that all set up. So I'm not going to actually be using the rag. This one's kind of garbage at this point, so I honestly don't care about it. So I just kind of clamped it on there. Now what I'm going to do is I grabbed a shorter one of these. Looks like I mounted it just a little bit too low, so let's just reposition that. Stick that in there like that. And then ideally with two hands, I don't have two hands right now. And honestly, it's probably not going to be that difficult for me to get this out, seeing as how I already pulled it out. But with two hands, ow, I'm going to want to pull up on it and it will come up and out just like that. And as you can see, this is our injector. Now you can see I cleaned this up last time I put it in there. But you can see that thing didn't quite seal, so that's also probably why that code did not carry. But this is the spring that I'm going to be reusing. That's just so that this thing can move up and down just a little bit, because with it being in there, if this was completely solid, it would break something. So the way it goes back in is with these numbers facing to the passenger side. So you can actually see, I'll put the camera down, you can see the numbers right there on that injector. So that's the way those are going to go back in. So what I'm going to do here is, I don't need that anymore. I don't need that anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this guy off. What I'm going to do is just bend one of these up like that, very slightly. Work my way around. Yep, there you go. That's popped off now. Go ahead and write these numbers down or take a picture of it. I took a picture of it on my phone to have for later. Basically what we're going to do, it's got the hole down there. Just going to take this guy. Sorry if my hand's kind of in the way. I'm going to take it. I'm going to put it down in the hole. It's not rocket science or difficult in any way, shape, or form. Just take it and push it down in. Now you can take your thumb, push down on this to get it as far down as possible. But you'll see right there that that little clip has to go between the two little notches right there. So if I move this, you'll see it has to fit between those two notches, and you can press it down just to make sure that you're getting it down in there. And then when we put our little bracket back in, which honestly is kind of a pain, it's gonna go literally on top of those two things. And this is extremely hard to do with two hands, let alone one. So it's gonna go on top of, it's gonna go on top of these little metal pieces right here. And then that will apply the pressure down for it to stay in. So I'll get back to you guys once I get that out. So here we are in INPA. This is going to be the software we're going to use to code the injector to the ECU. Now, I lost the original footage when I coded the injector, but honestly, that doesn't really matter. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. It should say cable detected yes and ignition on. That's how you know it's connected correctly. Now, you can search INPA on Google and find the software pretty much anywhere in English. Just make sure to search it with that. But we're going to hit F3 here to pull up the 3 Series E90s and then select N54 under the engine option. Once that loads up, we're going to go ahead and hit F9. You can either hit it on your keyboard or hit it down on the little bar there at the bottom. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and hit Shift F4 for injector rate comparison. Now this is going to open up this little flow chart. Ignore that error. You can just hit no. But right here it would show energy comparisons on the left, and then on the right it would usually show injector comparisons or flow comparisons for all the injectors 1 through 6. Now we're going to hit F5 since that's the one we're working on. Now whenever you type in these numbers, type them in basically as they're listed on the injector itself. So it's the one with the 5 is on the left, and the one with the 2 is going to go on the right. The 5 is the energy, flow is the, or 2 is the flow. But make sure you put the decimal in there, click yes, and ignore the first error. That second error is just because I'm not connected up to the computer. Once you're done with that, though, you can hit end, and then back out of the software completely. There's also ways to wipe the error codes and everything, but once you drive, it will automatically fall off. It's not really that important. But yeah, now all you have to do is turn off the car, turn it back on, and turn it over, and you should be good. Real quick, I just wanted to get what the mileage was. So, you can see my mileage is 167,000. Yeah, that's dusty. Oh my god. Alright, so we can see what my mileage is now. It's 167,098 miles. So, we'll see how many miles it takes for us to get a misfire. Alright guys, so it's been quite a while, in all honesty. You can see we got 94 miles on there, and the thing is running oh so perfectly. Woo! Blow-off valve. Love it! Ah! Yes! I don't know what it is about that blow-off valve, but that is like the best thing ever. Alright. Well, now that we see that that's what the issue was, and now it's such a night and day difference compared to how I was driving it before, because like I would get misfires after like about a half hour of me driving, or once it got up to like operating temperature, and it was just so upsetting. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos coming from me. For anyone who's made it to the end of the video, I want to thank you so much. We hit 500 subscribers, and I am so happy. I know it's such a small number, but for someone who's had this channel, granted I've only been doing automotive stuff for, what, about a year and a half or so, maybe a little over a year, but have had the YouTube channel since 2012, I'm pretty sure. For me to hit 500 subscribers, that's finally something that I can be proud of as far as this YouTube channel goes. Here's the road to 1,000. Here's the road to 1,000 subscribers. If there's anyone in the Pittsburgh area, I'm thinking about doing car reviews. Anyone in the Pittsburgh area interested in having their car reviewed, we can hit something up. Just hit me up on my Instagram. Right there, it's at FatalRPM. You can DM me or just email me at fatalrpm@yahoo.com. As always, thank you very much. Peace out, and I'll see you in the next one.